The voice continues. If there are no unexpected movements, then everything is fine. The machine is now ready for cutting. In the next part, we will see how the CNC machine carves the flower design onto real wood, gradually creating that beautiful work of art, G-code. Explanation: toolpath, setup, feed rate, and depth. Setting, simulation, and verification: machine setup, clamping, bit installation. All setup is done. Now the real work begins. We will now begin the process of cutting and carving the flower design. First, the machine will slowly create a preliminary trace or outline on the wood. This is called a rough cut. This will tell you whether the design is set up correctly or not. Rough cutting is a step where the machine cuts at a light level, following the outline of the design, without cutting too deeply. This allows the top layer of wood to be cut evenly, and the machine path or tool path is tested once. At this time, the feed rate is kept a little slow, so that if there is any mistake, it can be stopped immediately. Once the rough cut is complete, we clean off any dust or small pieces of wood that may have accumulated on the top of the wood. Now you can see that the basic shape of the flower has been created. Now the detail cutting or carving process will begin. Carving requires a small, sharp bit that can do fine work. We are using a 1/8" carving bit here, which will help create the inward curve of the flower petals. After changing the tool, the machine is zeroed again so that the height and position of the new tool are correct. This step is the most beautiful part, carving the flower petals. The machine runs very slowly at this stage, because even a small mistake during the delicate carving can ruin the design. At the end of the simulation, the tool path ends correctly. Now let's get to the machine setup. First, you need to secure the piece of wood firmly on the CNC table. Clamp it tightly so that it doesn't move while cutting. Wood is being placed on the table. The wood is being clamped on both sides. The spindle and cutting bit of the machine are visible. Then install the cutter bit. For safety reasons, you must work with the machine turned off. The CNC control software shows the X, Y, Z settings. The Z-axis is lowered and lightly touches the wood. After the Z-axis is properly positioned, zero the set. This will ensure the depth of cut is accurate. To check that all settings are correct, give it a dry run, meaning the cutting bit will move without touching the wood. Testing the entire path. The machine starts. The bit spins in the air and follows the design path. Keep the cutting depth to about 5 millimeters, so that the design is clearly visible in the wood. I am setting the feed rate to 800 mm and the plunge rate to 300 mm. This time, I have saved the entire toolpath as flower design G-code. The G-code is ready, but before putting it directly into the machine, let's run a simulation. This will help us understand if there are any mistakes. Animation of a flower design being cut in the 3D view of the software. The voice continues. Look, the entire flower shape is slowly being created. If there are any unnecessary cuts, the toolpath will need to be readjusted. It is a computer-controlled cutting machine that can accurately cut designs on various materials including wood, plastic, and metal. Today we will design a flower on a 12 mm thick wooden board. We are using a 6 mm cutting bit, which will help cut the delicate curves and petal shapes. Now, we will create the flower design on the computer. We are using V-Carve software for this. Here we will first draw the outline of the flower, then I'll add the small curves inside the petals, and a nice round design in the center. Check the design once to make sure all the lines are closed, because if there are open lines, the cutting won't be done properly. Now it's time to create the G-code. This code will help the CNC machine understand where to cut from. We are setting the cut depth to 3 mm, feed rate to 50 ms/second. Now let's create the toolpath and preview it. A beautiful flower shape is being created. If everything is correct, let's save the G-code. And now it's time to set it on the machine. The design is ready. Now we will send that design to the CNC machine. But the machine cannot directly understand the image, so now we need G-code, which is actually the language of CNC machines. This code contains the instructions: where to cut, how deep to cut, at what speed to cut, everything. Now we will set the toolpath in the software. First, we need to select the cutting tool. We are using a